this session. Okay, so welcome and hi everyone. And my name is Matty. I'm part of the marketing team at Aavenir, and I welcome you all for today's webinar, where we're going to talk about how you can manage your contracts remotely using digital workflow and AI on ServiceNow. So before I start today's webinar, there are a couple of housekeeping items, which I'd like to go through quickly. First thing is we have kept this webinar a bit short for 30 minutes, wherein the first 15 minutes is where we'll be discussing about the workflows, the AI, and how you can use it on ServiceNow platform. Then we'll be using it followed by a quick demo, and then we'll be taking your questions in the end. So sorry, I say 30 minutes, but the webinar is of 45 minutes, so I'm really sorry for that. We'll be recording this webinar, and also we'll be conducting a few polls so that we are able to understand your challenges and to make the entire session a bit more interactive. Also, feel free to ask your questions. So there is a Q&A panel in your Zoom software or your Zoom app if you're accessing from mobile, where you can type in the Q&A, which we'll be taking at the end of the webinar. Okay. And still, if you have watched the webinar and still if we are not able to cover the questions within the webinar, feel free to email to us at the email mentioned in the slide or in your screen, that is contact@aavenir.com. So with that, I would like to introduce the eminent speakers, starting with James, who heads the ISV technology and alliances at ServiceNow, and we also have Jesal Mehta, who's the founder and CEO of Aavenir. So I would like to quickly hand it over to James to share us some insights about ServiceNow platform and how it can help us in managing contracts using digital workflows and AI. So James, over to you.
Thanks, Mads, and welcome everyone. Before we start, I'd just really like to play a quick video which I really feel encapsulates ServiceNow's corporate purpose.
ServiceNow makes the world of work better for people, transforming old manual ways of working into modern digital workflows, so employees and customers get what they need when they need it. Fast, simple, easy, creating great experiences and unlocking productivity for employees and the enterprise. ServiceNow simplifies the complexity of work on a single enterprise cloud platform, the Now Platform, the intelligent and intuitive cloud platform for work. Native platform intelligence, so you can predict, prioritize and proactively manage the work that matters most. Intuitive experiences, so you can work in ways that work best for you. A digital workflow engine, so work happens smoothly across siloed systems and departments. And a product portfolio that delivers the IT, employee and customer workflows that matter through enterprise solutions that help drive every part of your digital transformation, creating the great experiences you want and unlocking the productivity you need, making work better. ServiceNow works for you.
So just to summarize, at ServiceNow, we have a digital workflow engine that enables work to happen smoothly across silo systems and departments, and a product portfolio that delivers IT, employee and customer workflows. In fact, Bill McDermott, our CEO, recently stated, behind every great experience is a great workflow. So our overall strategy is really about being the platform of platforms so that we can help you drive every part of your digital transformation. Through our technology, we want you to unlock the productivity that you need. We want to make the world of work better for people. However, we can't do everything. And as a result, a key part of our overall strategy is what we call our ISV ecosystem. And with this in mind, we have a technology partner program. So what is it? Well, it's a program focused on existing app providers, entrepreneurs, subject matter experts looking to exploit their IP through building native applications or integrations on the Now platform. And why is it important to us? Well, if we combine these new ideas with the Now platform and our continued investments, it provides us with a really compelling opportunity to complement, extend, and in many cases, build new repeatable applications that span multiple use cases. So if I look at our team's purpose, it's really about driving innovation on the Now platform to provide you, our customers, with as much choice as possible across new departments and personas, and to be able to provide these to you in a way that can be consumed really easily. So how do we do it? Well, we've effectively delivered these applications and make them available to you in two ways. So the first way is our store. So what is a ServiceNow store? Well, the ServiceNow store, it's a marketplace for both free and paid applications explicitly developed on the ServiceNow platform. So every ServiceNow store app is created and supported by ServiceNow technology partners. And ServiceNow has also verified every application's compatibility with the platform and its security. So we've effectively given it our stamp of approval. So, and the second way we do it, so the first way is store, the second way we do it is what we call OEM. And the best way to understand OEM, you need to think about it as a delivery channel for a solution built on the Now platform. So where the store is the delivery channel for certified apps and integrations to existing ServiceNow customers, OEM is the delivery channel for any solution built on the Now platform to any customer. So whether whether you're an existing ServiceNow customer or not. So effectively, the ISV, in this case, Aavenir, would provide you with a standalone white label version of their application. It just so happens that all of that foundation beneath the bonnet is ServiceNow. So as far as ISV partners are concerned, Aavenir is a really great example. They've been really successful in combining the capability of the Now platform with their really deep understanding of source to pay processes, along with really cool ways to deliver this utilizing technologies such as AI and machine learning. And we're really excited about these apps, and we've had a lot of interest from from customers, internally within ServiceNow, and partners alike. So without further ado, I'd like to pass you over to Jesal, who's the CEO and founder of Aavenir. So over to you, Jesal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, James. And first of all, I would like to recognize that and want to make sure everybody is aware that it's 2 a.m. for you in Brisbane, Australia right now. James, so really thank you for your support.
Absolute pleasure, Jesal. Really pleased to be able to contribute.
Great. All right. So you have time for the poll. We're going to start off with the poll here. Maddie, if you can just put the poll, because what James just talked about using the apps from the ServiceNow App Store. How many of you have used the ServiceNow App Store? At least are aware of ServiceNow apps from the App Store. All right, we'll give a couple of more seconds, and then Maddie, if you can. Okay, so it's roughly 50-50, 48-52% breakup. 50-50 looks like 50% of the people attending today are aware of the ServiceNow App Store, and other half is not. So this is a great learning exercise from that point of view as well. All right, moving on, and thank you everyone for joining. And thanks, James, once again for a wonderful introduction to ServiceNow and how the partners like Aavenir can benefit the organizations. Also, I was very delighted to learn that a lot of you guys already know about the ServiceNow app, so we can obviously build on top of that. Let's talk about the contract management a little more in detail. Whether this app is available on ServiceNow App Store for download or also for trial as well. Today's presentation is more around digital workflow and artificial intelligence in contract management, especially in the post-COVID era. For the basic use case of the contract management, we had a webinar a few weeks back that covered the basic authoring, collaboration, negotiations, and e-signature pieces as well. And you can actually visit Aavenir's webinar page and download those videos from there as well. Traditionally, while workflow has always been very important in contract lifecycle management. It has come into limelight during this pandemic time, especially in the last few months. I'm sure all of you agree. It is also evident from the fact that we have 5 times more registrations for this webinar than the previous one, which by the way in itself was a record-breaking webinar as well. So this shows that remote working for extended duration and disruptions in the businesses have made the contracts an essential component, something that an organization should consider in any business continuity plans. I'm sure all of you would be able to relate to the contracting challenges that you can see on the screen. The contract documents are flying across different people, different departments over emails, probably Google Docs, Google Sheets, and phone calls at times, and at best in shared drives somewhere. But guess what? You will not get the useful contract data when you actually need it. Digital workflow for contracts is specifically designed to address this. I'm sure all of you guys have kind of faced this already, especially in the last few months of shelter in place. Usually the contracts are divided into 3 parts: sell-side contracts, buy-side contracts, and other contracts. However, in the last few years, more complete and holistic approach to contract management has emerged. It's called enterprise-wide contract management. It not only includes buy-side and sell-side contracts, but it also includes all the other types of contracts like HR, IP, real estate contracts as well. All your organization's contracts should be stored in a single repository, and all the stakeholders should follow consistent process. And here I mean consistent process, not identical process. And the system has to be kind of flexible enough to different department and geographical requirements as well. Now let's just look at how the Aavenir Contractflow product addresses truly enterprise-wide contract management challenges. The base product offers standard solution to all the contracting use cases in your organization. It involves the stakeholders within the organization. When we started Aavenir, we had decided to democratize the enterprise apps for all employees. With that spirit, we want each and every employee of the organization to be able to request for a contract and keep track of their requests. Currently, they may have to pick up the phone or send an email to the contracting team to create a contract. However, with this system, if the person can create an IT ticket, he or she should be able to submit the request for contract as well. And we are going to see this today. If the contract request is of a simple and standard contract like NDA, it may not even require internal review or external negotiation. And in that case, the requester will be able to create an NDA using standard contract template and send it to the other party for e-signature. On the other hand, if the contract request is for more complex contract like a software license contract or a procurement contract, it will need to be sent for internal reviews. And Aavenir Contractflow smartly uses very powerful workflow engine from ServiceNow. You can have complex approval matrices in the system. And guess what? You already have the user hierarchy and approval rules in ServiceNow since they're already being used in your organization already. So we just need to configure a few more rules based on those contract types. This is really, really powerful. Once a contract is internally reviewed by using a tool, it is time to send it to the other party for redlining and negotiations. There is no need to take the contract out of the system and send it to the other party. All that happens from within the system. The other party sends the redline document back to you. Contractflow will automatically ingest that contract into the system. Remember, your core users are the contract managers or legal team members. They love their Microsoft Word, and hence Aavenir offers Microsoft Word-based plugin which tightly integrates with ServiceNow. It's a great proprietary plugin that allows the contract manager to interact with ServiceNow system on the Microsoft Word. Now, when the user saves the contract, it does not get saved locally on hard drive. It gets saved in centralized repository as a new version. Typically, after multiple rounds of back and forth, the contract is ready for the final approval and e-signature. Aavenir, out of the box, integrates with DocuSign for e-signature. But if you have any other preferred e-signature provider, we'll be happy to work with them as well. Once the contract is signed and executed, the lifecycle still continues. Right? You can amend a contract, renew a contract, or terminate a contract after that. And after contract activation, you can now manage the contract terms, obligations, contract performance. A lot of organizations are very focused on post-activation contract management. However, if you have done the pre-contract steps right, you can really be effective in your post-activation contract management. That gives me a time to breathe and time for you guys to respond. Which contract workflow is most challenging for you? And you can tick more than one here as well, if I read this code right. Let's give that a couple of seconds for the to respond. And maybe if you can flash the results for me. Okay. Interestingly, looks like 59% of the participants here are talking about the procurement contracts, 32% are talking about sales contracts, and 50% of enterprise-wide. So that's a good combination there, which is really, really good to see in this kind of session. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mehdi, for that. As all of you would agree, it has become a kind of a hype for many disciplines. AI has become a hype. However, in case of contract management, it brings some real value-added advantages and can increase the person's efficiencies. But more importantly, it can help you make important decisions during the contract negotiations. It will assist you in achieving the best value from your contracts. For example, at the most basic level, AI can help you extract the key terms from the contract automatically. No need to read and enter the data manually. While on the other hand, AI maturity, on the other spectrum of the AI maturity, I should say, it can actually recommend clauses and terms during the negotiation process. Let me tell you a true story. In one of the panel discussions about AI in contract management, one guy from the audience asked me a question. I said, we understand what you offer, we like your products, but when are you going to give me the autonomous driving experience in contract management? I was like, huh? So he further explained that his paralegal spent significant amount of her time in redlining the contracts. And guess what? She's redlining the contracts same way every time because their going in positions are usually the same. So that general counsel of a large bank, by the way, was asking me when they can provide a single click redlining based on the past redlining history. Fascinating. It's good thought. So while single click redlining is some time away, today's AI can suggest clauses and terms that should be used or which term would work best for this kind of supplier or customer. A lot of interesting work that is being done in this space. Having said that, just like any other discipline, you will succeed in AI when you take a phased approach, what I call crawl, walk, and run approach. As we all know, that AI's strength is the availability of the data. Start getting the right kind of data in same repository, then build on top of it. If anyone has any questions around AI in contract management specifically, let's connect offline. I'm going to cover a use case or two today, but there are a lot of other use cases that we can certainly talk about as well. So it's just a fascinating area. Obviously, now to get into more detail with you guys. A few people asked me, why contract management on ServiceNow? Well, first and foremost, ServiceNow is one of the systems where every employee has an access to it, since they already use that to create IT tickets. Everybody has access to that. We are just extending the capabilities to create contract requests. No need for new security settings, no new login, no new passwords. Also, all the data is stored in ServiceNow. You have already trusted ServiceNow with your data, so no need for additional IT audit or clearance requirements. And finally, guess what? There is no need for new system administrator. Your existing ServiceNow administrator can manage Aavenir system just fine. And that's the beauty of it, where you are self-sufficient to a large extent. So that's what I wanted to go over as far as the slides are concerned. And Mehdi, if you're okay, I can share my screen.
Yes, Jesal, please go ahead.
Thank you for that. Oops. The wrong button. You need to enable the sharing for me, Mehdi. You're the host. You have to go to the security and enable that for me. Okay, I think I can do that now. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yes, Jesal, go ahead.
So this is a persona that we are talking about is Lisa Gill, and she is logged in, and this is the contract manager dashboard that she sees. And this is a configurable dashboard, but a good representation of what we can do here. For example, the most commonly sought after dashboard is when are my contracts expiring? So you can actually go over that and say, okay, next contracts expiring in 30 days, contract expiring in 60 days, contract expiring in 90 days. You can click on it and kind of see that drill down as well. This will be in addition to the automated alerts that you will get 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days before the expiry. You can see the contracts by type. You can see the contracts that you are working on. Here are a couple of interesting ones. This shows the contracts by payment terms, and this has become a very, very important, especially in the post-COVID era, where a lot of organizations are trying to renegotiate their payment terms. If your CFO asks you, give me all the contracts where I have payment term being net 30, I'm going to go negotiate that to net 60 or net 90. So this is how you get to all your contracts which has payment term is net 30. This is another great one where this actually tells you the clauses that are most negotiated during the negotiation cycles. So if I'm a legal counsel, if I'm looking at this, and if I look at this number, it says, okay, these 5 templates are negotiated this heavily, then I think it is best if we can rewrite this or kind of at least neutralize some of the language so that we can reduce the back and forth and compress the deal cycle. So this is a great start. A lot of legal folks will know this. We are actually going one step forward in our upcoming release, where when you are sending a contract out to the other party for negotiation, we'll be able to tell you that with this account or this vendor, usually they negotiate these clauses more based on the past. So you should be able to say, okay, do I need to change the language now instead of doing back and forth? Or maybe you have some alternate clauses in your clause library that you can use as well. So a lot of interesting things you can do. The way our data model is structured, it allows us to go down not at the contract level, but the clauses in the clause library, which contract is using which clause, and so on and so forth. The other thing that I want to talk about is the search function. And again, this is coming in from my long contract management experience. I've been in this space for a little over 18 years now. And one thing that I've learned is we can give all AI and blockchain, all fancy features to the users. But they use the contract search most commonly. They want more enhancements in search because that's the function that they use several times in a day. So we have put a lot of efforts in that area. So for example, in this, I'm searching for a contract with InFocus, which is a vendor looking for the InFocus systems. So obviously you see a list of contracts, the 41 results which shows the contract, and it also shows the value that is showing up. Just like your Google, it just highlights this word as well, which is good start. What we go beyond that is now you can search within this search. So for example, I can say, you know what, I understand this, but I want the contract that were done before, let's say I want to do it, basically last year before, right? So I would say before 1st of January of this year, I want to do look at the contracts from that. All the contracts within Focus would have done before 1/1 of 2020. So you can see now you can drill down further. Similarly, you can do many different things. You can do by contract type, the value of the contract, and here it gets interesting. You can actually search by the contract clause category. You can just say liquidation damages, for example. Show me all the contracts where the liquidation clause exists. Or you can actually flip the question and you can just say there is a clause not present in the contract. You can just say, show me all the contracts where the liquidation clause does not exist. And these kind of search becomes very powerful to get to the right contract, right information that you are looking for from the product. With that, I'm just going to, and again, we can do a lot of stuff in this area, but because today's theme is the digital workflow, I'm going to jump over to a slightly different use case here, where this is a requester. This is a CLM requester, where he is not a legal guy. He's requesting for a contract. And we differentiate between the contract request and a contract. So here, this is a CLM requester. He sees the request that he has requested earlier, the status, how many of them are converted into contract, how many are still in request phase, and so on and so forth. He can actually go here and click on new request. So here the requester is requesting for a new contract. So I'm just going to quickly walk you through on that. Let's say I want to create a contract with InFocus systems. Contract name is, I want to say MSA with InFocus. And I'm going to pick master services agreement here. I want the start date to be, let's say, July of next year. I want this to be a critical, and I just say required for IT services need. And you can just say, please treat this urgently. And you can provide more information around that. As soon as you save this, this request is being sent to the assigned person or legal person. It can be a person or a group of lawyers. Usually it may be a group of lawyers and one of them can actually implement. You can take either of those approaches. You can attach the file here as well to provide more information. And you can see the comment also coming up here. So let me now go back to Lisa. I mean, we talked about Lisa receiving this. It was sent to Lisa. Just waiting for Lisa to receive that email. Should pop up. There it is. So Lisa receives this request that a request has been created. So Lisa would click on it. And she says, okay, looks like person, Mr. Requester, has requested this contract. I, as a Lisa, as a contract manager, can do multiple things here. She can create a contract. She might say, okay, everything is good. I have all the information that I need to create a contract. Or she can send it back to requester for more information. So she can like click on need more information. And she can say, please provide more information. And what is that more information? She can select those fields here. She can say, please provide, let's say, tax exempt or not. Or she can also provide, send me the cost center that you are talking about. So this information, you are now sending back to the requester, and requester can do back and forth. Let's say she submits it here. And now I'm going to jump back to the requester. As you can see, requester receives that please provide more information. It's a tax exempt and cost center. The requester can actually see those. Okay, here's the information, that additional information has been asked for. So he clicks on form URL and says, okay, cost center, whatever the cost center, let's say, announce the cost center is tax. Yes, it is a tax exempt, and submit. So that information is sent back now back to the to Lisa, the contract manager as well. So all this information is kind of tracked here as well. And they can do back and forth as many times as they want. And I'm back to Lisa, who is the contract manager. So she asked for information. CLM requester provided that information, which she can actually monitor that here. And now she says, okay, I'm ready to create a contract. So she clicks on create contract, and we are ready to create a contract with InFocus system. And remember, the requester asked for an MSA. MSA may have multiple templates, but here there's one, so it's okay. We'll create an MSA template, MSA contract using the template. So Aavenir provides a clause library, a facility for you to build your clause library and build your templates from there as well. You can see some of the information is already filled in. As soon as you jump, you kind of landed here, you can see some information here, what we call it Aavenir Insights. If you click on it, it actually says similar contract already exists. Do you really want to create a new contract? Because a lot of times in large organizations, this happens often, that two guys are, second guy is creating a contract, the provider contract already exists with the other party. So kind of doing a quick check on that, and the user makes a decision on that. Here, let's say user says term, Lisa says, I don't know what the term is. And let's say Lisa is new and she wants to know what should be the term that I be using for this kind of thing. And she said, okay, for MSA, out of 7 contracts that's been done, 4 has used, or 4 have used 2 years as a term. Then I can just say, okay, I'm safe to say 2 years in the process. So this is something that we actually provide information from the past data. She can always enable, disable for information like 10 days, inspection period, cost adjustment, $1,000, so on and so forth. All of the information can be provided. And all these fields that you see here are specific to the contract type. You have an MSA, so you have these fields. But if you are creating, let's say, a purchase agreement, you might have a different sets of fields that you are requested to fill in. If an NDA, it's a whole different kinds of field that you may be filling in. And that's the strength of the ServiceNow platform that we use. We allow you to drag and drop fields here as you see please as well. So as you save the contract, you can see a bunch of new things have popped up as well. You can now have the contract attachments. You can see the audit history, everything going back and forth shows up here. Contract tasks, any tasks that are created for this contract can show up here, and any other related contracts can also show, especially the child contract will show here. Here, you will also see some interesting things. You can see related contracts, and this is a lot of times you have parent-child and then parent-child to grandchildren. So the entire hierarchy you can actually track here. And currently, because this is a brand new contract, I don't have that relationship here, but you can actually see the entire relationship here as well. Similarly, amendment and renewal. Often you might want to know, especially in a contract which lasts for like 10 years, you may have multiple amendments and multiple renewals, but you want to actually trace it back to the origin. So we actually can see an entire chain of events here, and you can go back to any contract in that sequence anytime that you want as well. So a lot of those things can happen as a result of that. As a user, when Lisa is now created these, saved this contract and ready to take some actions on that. So first thing she's going to say, okay, let me generate the document. And that document is generated and attached automatically to this contract records. If I just go here, you can actually see the contract is attached here automatically as a 1.0 version of this contract. Now, Lisa can take many actions. She can send it for signature, you can send it for internal review, she can send it for external review, you can send it for, and this is interesting, send section for review. At times, if you are dealing with a contract with 150 pages or 100 pages, you may not want to send an entire contract out for review as well. Or you might want to say, okay, I want somebody to review this license grant part. Right? So with that, I can just select and send section for review. By just doing that, I'm sending only that section for review. And this is like an email, right? So, and this is using an email functionality from the system. You are not taking it out and doing it on your Outlook. You can just say, okay, this is a section to review from contract. And this was the email template that I just did. You can actually send it to anybody that you want for somebody to review this as well. So this is again kind of an example of what you can do as far as the section review is concerned. Similarly, you can click on send for internal review, and you can send an entire document out for review as well. I have covered the internal review, send for approval, and send submit for signature, all of that in the previous demonstration. So I'm going to not going to cover that today because that you can actually view there in the interest of time. I'm going to focus on external review part of it. So if I click on external review, which is what you are sending it to the other party for negotiations. For Eric, you are sending it to Eric for review. You can send an email. So you can type the email, or you can actually select this out of the box email template as well. And this is the document docx version that we have, and I'm going to send it to Eric for reviews. Remember, this is Lisa sending the contract for negotiation or for redlining to Eric. Eric is an external party. The moment I sent it, the contract has moved from draft to in review, and it's an external review. Now let me jump to Eric's email. Too many users in the system, so I will keep jumping around different users and then emails. So just waiting for the email to pop up. Okay. Okay, it should come up any second now. That gives me a time to take a sip of water. Okay, there it is. Okay, so the email has popped up here, and Eric is an external user, right? So he's not using Aavenir, he's just using the email system to download this document, opens it, And just like any other Word document, sorry, I have to put this here. He can actually redline whatever he wants in there. So he can just say, okay, I don't like this, or let it here. You can do all of that. It is just a regular redlining that he would do and send it back to Lisa over email, just like an email attachment. So Lisa receives that as an email attachment. She double clicks on it and opens that attachment that is coming from Eric. Now assume that you are you are Lisa now, but because Lisa is an Aavenir customer, she would see this small ribbon here called Aavenir CLM contracts in Microsoft Word. So she has much more power here than just regular Microsoft Word. She can do anything that she wants in Microsoft Word, what she would do today. But here, she can actually do a little more than that. She can on the clause library. So she says, okay, I can accept, reject. For example, here she can accept, deletion, I reject, or she can, whatever a normal Word user would do, she would do it. But in addition to that, she can invoke the clause library, and let's say she would insert this clause here in there as well. So with that, that clause now shows up directly from the clause library. There's no point in copy paste or typing it in and typing their own language. She can actually do everything directly from clause library. So you are actually forcing your users to adhere to your clause library. Once she is ready, she can check in, and at this level, she's not checking in or saving the file on your folder, therefore local folder. It actually is getting saved in ServiceNow or an Aavenir, which is a centralized repository. You can save it as a minor version or as a major version as well. Save that, and now the next version 1.1 is created. So once I go there, you can see that as well. But here, if I go and then Lisa, I say, okay, I just don't know what are the changes. So she can actually select these two and compare two versions as well. Obviously, they are just two versions, so easy to see even without comparison. But imagine in a long negotiation cycle, you may have 10 or 15 or 20 versions. So you can actually compare version 1 and version 15 for you to compare how that has kind of changed as well. So you can see the contract side-by-side comparison. You can see that here. So this is side by this is original document, this is change revised document. You can see all of that here. The other thing that Lisa has is also very fascinating. There's something called contract summary as part of the Aavenir CLM. She can click on that and she can see all the terms that are being used in this contract. So she has a contract summary being shown up here. So she can say, okay, contract term is here. What is the vendor name? So I clicks on, she directly jumps onto that as well. So you can do that. With the start date, so directly navigates to that within the document. So this is more of an easy access to all your terms that you are dealing with. Similarly, you can see the clauses as well. This is, if you remember, EULA terminate was the clause that were inserted. If she clicks on it, she can actually navigate directly to that as well. And if you have more clauses, you can actually move around there as well. So a lot of interesting things you can actually do directly from Microsoft Word. So I'm going to go back to Lisa's view here in the browser. So if you can just review, refresh the page here, you will see that this attachment that we had seen earlier, now this 1.1 attached as well. And similarly, you can have 10 or 15 or 20 attachments that you can see them here as well. So this was one use case that I wanted to cover. And again, as I said, submit for signature, send for approval. These kind of functions have been covered in the previous webinar. So feel free to take a look at that webinar. You'll be able to see a complete use case as well. I'm going to jump to a second use case, which is an AI use case. Again, AI has few use cases, but I'm just going to take one, what we call it, the third-party paper use case. And let me just kind of explain what I mean by that. So, and this is a contract that is coming from the third party. A fresh contract coming in from third party, you are not initiating the contract from your end. So you don't know what the contract looks like. It is not written from your language. You don't have any connection to your terms or clause like it. It is just coming as an email attachment from the other party. So Lisa, she opens that document in Microsoft Word. And then as part of Aavenir CLM contract, she has this small little button called Intelligent Import. When she clicks on it, the document is sent to Aavenir's proprietary machine learning engine, which starts reading this contract automatically. It kind of scans the contract, reads the contract, and identifies the terms from that. So right now, we identified roughly 8 to 9 terms. I don't know how many of them are present here in this example. Let's say contract types, the sales agreement, vendors, a day, person that you are dealing with, jurisdiction, payment term is probably not there in here, start date, end date. This information is all there in there. And you can see by just with a click of a button, this information was extracted from this contract. Now what? So traditionally, when you want to ingest this, all you have to do is just attach the document and manually enter the data in the fields. Here, what you would do is you can actually, okay, this is the sale agreement. It's going to say sales agreement, and I'm going to say check in. So what we are actually doing, we are actually creating, okay, let's see, let's, I'm just going to call it for NSA, because sales agreement is not configured in the system. So, okay, so that doesn't work either. I'm just going to say purchase agreement. Let's see if that works. Depending on how it's configured there. So what happens is with that, you can just say this is a purchase agreement, start date, end date, everything is kind of selected from here, and you can create a contract. So directly from Microsoft Word, you are creating a contract in, and if I just click on go to contract, now I can directly jump in to that contract within Aavenir, which is a familiar interface that you had seen earlier. You can see all the information from there has been pulled in. The language that you have has been pulled in here. It's also attached as a document here. And now you can have all the steps here as well that we talked about earlier. And then you can just follow through the rest of the use case just like what you had seen earlier. So this is the power of AI. As simple as I click of a button, we scan the document using the machine learning. We train the machine learning with a lot of data, and we extract these terms. And more we train, better the extraction is going to be. And that's what something that we can continue doing. So that's another small use case of AI that I wanted to cover today. There's another use case when you have a existing contract, an executed contract that you want to upload into the system. Currently, in most organizations, you may attach and type in those values, the start date, end date, the product, the vendor name, the values, and stuff like that. However, using the similar functionality, you can actually while uploading the executed contract, we actually use the machine learning to extract those terms for you as well. So happy to talk about those different use cases and some use cases on the clause recommendation side. We'll happy to talk about that in a separate session with all of you. With that, I think we are kind of running close to our stipulated time. So I'm going to kind of wrap up here. And Maddie, back to you. We have 10 more minutes and happy to take any questions.
So thank you, Jesal. And I think with this improved security measures from Zoom, it is now again stopping me to share my screen. So can you please make me the host?
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you, Maddie. Can you repeat?
Sorry. So Jesal, can you please make me the host? I'm not able to share the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, back to you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, there are a couple of things that we need to do before we do Q&A, right? I forgot about that. What is the licensing model for Contractflow? It's a pretty innovative licensing model as well. There are 4 kinds of users: contract requesters, contract approvers, contract managers, and administrators. Our contract requesters and contract approvers are free. Unlimited users are bundled with the product. Contract managers and the administrator are the only one that got to be paid. Usually that's a small number. That's the only one that those are paid users within the system. Okay, go to the next one, Maddie. Okay, and this is one offer that we have, which is with partnership from with the ServiceNow. As you know, ServiceNow is doing a lot of efforts for the during the COVID era. So we have also launched with the ServiceNow's help 120 days of free production license of Contractflow Essential Package for any organization. We are also throwing in from our end. We are throwing in a couple of weeks of services for configuration as well. So this is the time to do it, where you can actually avail this. So obviously 4 months of free access is like 1/3, 33% discount right away. And obviously you get services with that, so it gets you up and running. And this is the time to experiment with this kind of product. If you want AI and all that stuff, this is the time to experiment with that. So that's it. Thank you, Maddie, and back to Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Jesal. So we have got a couple of very good questions. So first question which we have got is, can Adobe Sign be used with Contractflow?
Oh, excellent question. Yes. So we, out of the box, we integrate with DocuSign, but we are happy to integrate with Adobe Sign or any other HelloSign or any other e-signature provider as well. Remember, we are on ServiceNow. So ServiceNow already has integration with Adobe Sign, so we can piggyback on that as well. So the answer is yes.
Great, great. Thank you. Second question which we have is for the third-party documents. So in the use case which you have shared, wherein Visa is sending or redlining to the external review. Okay. So from security perspective, what are the security measures taken when you are importing third-party documents?
Security measures taken from it. So it's like, it's no different than what you have today. Because currently the third-party redline document comes over email, and that just happens the same day. So there is no difference in what you are doing it today. We are just kind of checking in from the Microsoft Word. I'm not sure if that answers the question, but to summarize that, I mean, it is no different than what you are doing it today. From Microsoft Word, we obviously have a secure channel to ServiceNow that will be transmitting the data over SSL. So if that part is also secure. And if somebody has some specific more questions on that, happy to take that question offline as well for more once I understand more question better.
Thank you. The next question we have is, can Aavenir Contractflow integrate with other enterprise applications like SAP or Salesforce or any other CRM system?
Oh, excellent question. Yes. And a lot of times, I think we talked about enterprise-wide contract management. And that's where we obviously got to integrate with many systems, because contracting is a central solution. Contract management is sitting in center, and all the systems, whether it's on a buy side, it's Ariba, it's SAP on one end, and Salesforce on the other hand. So we can integrate, and we do integrate with Salesforce or SAP, where you can actually we can invoke this from there and pass on the data back and forth as well.
Okay. So regarding integration, we just got a question that have you integrated to an ERP system like Oracle?
Like Oracle?
Yes.
Not specifically to Oracle, but let me kind of make it broaden that response a little more. Again, because we are completely native to ServiceNow. All the things that we are doing on ServiceNow. What that means is that a ServiceNow's integration layer will allow us to integrate with any of these systems. So ServiceNow has, I think, integration already out of the box integration with 300 or so enterprise applications, and I'm pretty sure Oracle would be one of them. So with that, by virtue of being on ServiceNow platform, you would automatically be connected or integrated with the system like Oracle.
Okay, thank you. The next question which we have is for AI. So the AI solution which Contractflow delivers, does it learn from our own data, or does it learn from all the customer data which are with Aavenir?
Excellent question. And by the way, a lot of questions. I like this session to be very interactive. Thank you, everyone, for that. To answer your question, Maddie, I think it's a combination. So we do train our model upfront with our test data, and we have probably, I don't know what the latest number is, but I'm pretty sure it's north of 10,000 contracts by now. We're already trained with them. And then we have something called active learning. So every time model makes a mistake and human is interfering and making the change there, that learning goes back into the system. So it's learning from all these different contexts and getting mature over a period of time.
Okay, thank you, Jesal. And so I think, yeah, that's it we have from the question perspective. So thank you, James. Thank you, Jesal, and I would like to say thank you everyone for taking your precious time out during the such COVID era. And I would request you to please please leverage the COVID-19 offer which we have currently, wherein you can test our AI and digital workflow solution of Contractflow. And to do that, please visit our website, or simply send us an email to contact@aavenir.com. And as a next step, what we will be doing is we'll be sending you a follow-up email. And so, Jesal, we also have some furthermore questions, but I think we will take it up post webinar. Okay. So, thank you all, and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, guys.